Hello and welcome to another Japanese from Zero, Japanese in 5, where we take just 5 minutes out of your extremely busy day and we teach you some Japanese. Today's topic is Japanese punctuation. Let me put a period on that. All right, it is number 7. There are 6 more somewhere out there on the internet. Here we go. Let's look at the first one. This is very nice here, a very simple start one that every language pretty much uses. The parentheses. In Japanese, this is kakko. It's very simple. Kakko. You can see them right there. Now, when you're typing in Japanese, you'll notice a really irritating thing that happens when you type parentheses. They have a much bigger space surrounding them. You have to get used to that. All Japanese pronunciation has these, they take up an entire block. Whereas English, like the period, might take up just a small section, like a small part of the letter, not for Japanese. So the kakko will take up this big thing. I am using English parentheses here because I really am not a fan of the Japanese parentheses, but that has nothing to do with this, and I have wasted an entire minute talking about it. Let's move to the next one. This is called the quotes in Japanese, which, by the way, I just found out yesterday these are the same quotes in Chinese. Wow. Apparently they're called the Chinese quotes, but they are kagikakko. Kagikakko. And by the way, you know how in English you go, yeah, supposedly she's my friend. Well, you can't do that in Japanese. You can't go like, she's my tomodachi. You can't do that. You can't do that all. It would be nice, but you cannot. Then you've got what I like to just call the maru, but apparently there's an official name for it when I was researching this. I did not know. I've never heard it called kuten, but apparently it is. But in Japanese, everyone knows this as maru. This is that little, you see it right there, boom, that little circle right there at the end. If you think you've seen it somewhere else, we're going to talk about it a little bit later on. There's a little bit later on, I have like 2 more minutes left. We're going to talk about it in just a second, but that is also called the handakuten, but it's in a different position. This right here, though, is the maru. All right, this is something that's really unique, only really used in katakana words. It's called, I'm going to call it for lack of a better name, the kana splitter. It splits up words like first names and last names, or words that Japanese people are not used to. They don't know where the break point is, so they put that in there to give it sort of a break point. And that is called, up until now, I never ever knew what it was called. It is nakaguro. I wrote nagaguro, that's a mistake. It should say nakaguro, which literally means the middle black. Then you've got nagabotsu. Now, botsu is a term like botsu, like a little spot. You'll hear that before. And kokumaru, which is another way to say black circle. And you'll see it, I typically write it in the middle of my name all the time. Joji dot Torombri. Now here we go. Here's that little circle thing again that we talked about, but this is a totally different one. This is not the kuten or the maru this time. This is called handakuten. And the one right next to it, right here, is called the dakuten. These are the sounds that are the daku-on sounds when you add these little hash marks to some of the hiragana. For example, without that little hash mark there, that's just a ho. And without that little circle, that handakuten, or literally half dakuten, then that is just also a ho. But with it, it's a po. This is bo and po. Typically what happens with those little dakutens is the sound gets softened. For example, kakikukeko, if you add dakuten on all of those, become ga, gi, gu, ge, go. The only letters that have these handakuten, this little circle right here, that is only the hahihueho line, which becomes papi, pu, pep, po. You might have seen this somewhere. This is the yubin maku. This is like right before a zip code. The Japanese will put this right before their number. For example, I used to live in Hachinohe, and my zip code was 033. So, or maybe that was Misawa's zip code, and maybe it changed, I don't remember. But you would put this little yubin maku, and then the little numbers after it. This is really common when you're looking at a lot of grammar books. You're like, well, how do you say tilde in Japanese? There's a lot of ways, and some Japanese people don't know. But if you say nami, that's what it is. I've heard ue nami. Or was it ua nami? I honestly don't remember. But this is nami. Now, I have heard Japanese people also call it chiruda, which is probably rare. We are running out of time. Let's finish this up. Maru maru desu. This is what they do to say there's something going in this blank. It's like saying blank desu. Maru maru, literally circle circle. Then you've got this thing called the yoko bo. It's only in katakana. Oh my gosh, I got 20 seconds left. It is a lengthener only used in katakana. And the other part of that is the tatebo. Yoko bo means literally horizontal line. Tatebo means straight up line. And then we've got this This is very common to double up the kanji. This is ito. Ito, a lot of times you'll see this and the kanji will be doubled, and sometimes daku ten get added to the part that is doubled. Thank you for watching. This has been Japanese in 5. See you next time.